Welcome back to Hong Kong Direct. Studio guests Ed Sadler and Graham Cunningham still with me. We'll be looking ahead to the Oriental Watch Sha Tin Trophy in a moment. Don't forget, though, on the website, Multimedia Showcase Racing to Win. We'll look at all 10 races on the programme, 8 on the turf and 2 on the all-weather as well. Races 3 and 7 for the features. The Oriental Watch Sha Tin Trophy, though, comes up as race number 7, headed by Beauty Generation. This is a Group 2, but still a handicap. Southern Legend, Karis Teetan, Golden 60, all finished behind Golden 60 last time out, but they're £7 better off. Fury, last year's Derby winner, first up for the season. Champions Way, dead heating with Beauty Generation last time out. Fast Most Furious, also coming out of the Celebration Cup. Player de Puente almost stole last year's Derby. Singapore Sling returns from a long layoff. And Shafano, £113. Matthew Chadwick riding for David Hayes. Now, the obvious place to start here, boys, of course, is with the Celebration Cup. It's a race, Graham, that Beauty Generation had basically a stranglehold on, but his hold was very much loosened, if not ripped away here by Golden 60 in devastating fashion. Yeah,
seconds out, round 1 between two very different horses, but very high-class horses, and that ability to run home in 22.19 on the day, but he reels off these very fast closing splits like they're going out of fashion. Golden 60 shuts it down in 5 or 6 strides. There were some excuses for Beauty Generation. Stall 1 proved a mixed blessing on the day. He couldn't get rolling at a very important point in the race. There's a £7 difference, £7 pull in favour of Beauty Generation again this weekend. The metrics are all going in favour of Golden 60. He's 5 years of age, prime time. Beauty Generation is 8, Twilight Zone, really. What about Golden 60? He's won his last 8. Beauty Generation's lost 6 of his last 8. That's not what we're used to. Stable form, Francis Loy ticking along really nicely, almost a winner a meeting. David Hayes, north from 40, I think, since that first day double. So lots and lots of metrics in favour of Golden 60, but the market's going to reflect that, and this is a slightly different tactical setup, perhaps.
All right, I thought for a moment there Ed Graham was giving Beauty Generation the standing count there, but he does get barrier 5, which might mean he can get to the outside of Karis Teetan. Could that give him some sort of chance to really put the pressure on from the turn?
Possibly. I just think Golden 60 is the better horse at their respective stages of their careers. Certainly Golden 60 is going to be giving Beauty Generation a bit of a start, but he's got a sensational turn of foot. He's still a horse on the rise, whereas Beauty Generation, as marvellous as he is, his best days are behind him. So I think Golden 60 is the one to beat here, but certainly might be a bit closer this time around the margin between the two of them.
All right, all seems doom and gloom at the moment for Beauty Generation. Let's see if Zach Purton can inject some enthusiasm into Beauty Generation's chances on the weekend.
Yeah, I thought it was a good effort. You know, he's had such a long time off that he was a little bit rusty, and it took him a little bit of time early on in the race to get into his rhythm. And you know, it's not his normal racing pattern, but I thought he handled it really well, and it was a bit of a stop-start-run race. Those horses made that early move and got first run on him, but once he was able to sort of get himself into the clear, I thought he ran a good race.
When you say it's not his usual racing pattern, he's famous for being out in front dictating. Is that the way you rode him last time out, more of how things are going to be now that he's getting older, or was that just circumstance?
It was just circumstance. You know, he was just a little bit sluggish in his work, in his trial and in that race, but he's getting a little bit sharper as time goes on. And you know, he's an older horse now, so it's going to take that little bit of extra time for him to switch back on, but he's getting there, and I think we'll see a little bit of a better horse, or a different horse again this weekend, and I think he'll continue to improve after this.
There we go. So you're saying there's a chance, still fighting there, Beauty Generation. Just a word, guys, on the horses in behind there. We haven't touched on Fast Most Furious, Graham, and Dances with Dragon. £7 isn't going to be enough for them to win, but I thought they were staying on okay at the back, and a step up in trip wouldn't hurt either of them.
Yeah, Fast Most Furious scores well on the system of I backed him last time, so he might go in this time, and I think he could go well at a big price. Southern Legend has one notable victory over Beauty Generation, but I think Beauty Generation might hold the edge this weekend. I'm hoping it develops into a battle between the big two, and what I'm really hoping for is that Zach goes back to the old tactics of letting fly from the crown of the bend and seeing exactly what Beauty Generation is capable of, try to roll back the clock, but that might just bring the best out in the young fella, because a strongly run race might just show Golden 60's turn of foot to even better advantage.
Well, speaking of letting it fly, Player de Puente did exactly that in last season's Derby. He returns. Singapore Sling returns as well for a long layoff. Any dangers there?
I don't really think so. I think they're both obviously nice horses. Playa del Puente, though, I think will be more of a 2,000 metre plus horse for this season. Singapore Slings had a number of issues. We haven't seen him at the races for a long time, but it was a couple of years ago that he ran Beauty Generation to a half length in this race. So there is cause for optimism going in fresh that he might be able to run well. I think we should mention Champions Way, Andrew, because I thought his last effort in the Celebration Cup was huge after a winless season last season and a bit of a subpar run, I guess, in the Chief Executives Cup. I wasn't sure what we're going to get from him, but he took off early and he was still strong to the line. He's got a lightweight and a good draw and did run well at a number of races behind Golden 60 in the 4-year-old series last season. So he's definitely a top 3 contender in the race, even if it might be more for third in it.
All right, so that's Champions Way. Fiore returns as well, Graham. What about his sort of chance? He ran some good races in defeat last year.
He did, and the interesting thing is, Andrew, he's had a lengthy spell at Chung Fa, and the way he's gone in a couple of trials, yes, he was against lesser opposition, but it looks like the spark may just be reigniting. Now, I suspect if it does really catch fire, it'll be down the line over longer trips, but both he, Furore and Voyage Warrior, they are two of the poster boys for Chung Fa this weekend.
All right, OK. Tips time, boys. Decisions to be made. What do we like for the two futures then, Ed?
I'm going to go for Computer Patch. I think he's a progressive sprinter on the rise and should be winning in the Premier Bowl, and then Golden 60 will be hard to beat in the Sha Tin Trophy, Andrew.
Captain Obvious with Golden 60, but I must stress that it's all about price. We don't mention it often enough, but Beauty Generation hasn't gone off bigger than 4-1 in many, many moons. He might do this weekend, in which case he'd start to get interesting. But Golden 60 is the obvious one, the potential star, and I think there might be some value in Perfect Match in the Premier Bowl. I hope they bet around Hot King Prawn and Computer Patch, in which case Perfect Match and Bedell could be a perfect match again.
Yeah, I think it's interesting as well, Perfect Match. The heartstrings still tugging at Beauty Generation for me, so I'll give him one more chance on the weekend to get some revenge with Golden 60. Those are the two features coming up on Sunday, the Premier Bowl and the Oriental Watch Sha Tin Trophy. So races 3 and 7, and then we're back at Happy Valley Wednesday nights, and then a return to Sha Tin the following weekend. That's it then, guys. Thanks as always, and enjoy the action on the weekend.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thanks, Andrew.
All right, that's the show. Thanks for watching. We're going to leave you this week with last year's Oriental Watch Sha Tin Trophy. And this was the run of Beauty Generation coming to the end at the hands of Rise High for Casper Founds and Vincent Ho. Can Vincent do it again with Golden 60? We'll find out on the weekend. Enjoy this. We'll see you again on Sunday. Bring all the action from Hong Kong direct to you.
At the 800, it's Karis Teetan by a neck to Glorious Forever. Beauty Generation travelling with his head on his chest in third, but he's under lock and key. Southern Legend to his outside. 2 further back then to Insatiable. Followed then as they come up towards the corner by Eagle Way, who's getting a wriggle on from Rise High. Nothing I Like More. And White Cuckoo starting to get to the outside. He's got onto the back of Beauty Generation, who shouldered his way into the clear, cornering for home and hit the front. White Cuckoo's in hot pursuit. He's idling at the moment. Beauty Generation, Rise High and White Cuckoo, they run to him. They run past the champ. Rise High, White Cuckoo get past Beauty Generation and Ka-Ying Star. White Cuckoo and Rise High. What an incredible battle. It's Rise High going home best and Rise High from White Cuckoo. Beauty Generation could only manage third.